4, Lost in the Woods. Alright. The stream is still holding up. Everything is going good. Doesn't normally go this good. I'm very happy that the stream has gone so smoothly. Alright. Lost in the Woods. We'll start the chapter. I have a feeling there's going to be 5 chapters to this. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. There's like a whole new stuff. Hamid. Breed Hamid, a god of human ancestry. Auspice unknown. Rank cub. Tribe unknown. Spiritual maxed out. There might be a lot more to this game than I thought there was. I'm not sure if I'll be able to actually get this done in one. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick second and just see how many chapters are in this game. That would be a good thing to check, actually. How many chapters? Okay, there's only 6 chapters in this game. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to do a longer stream and I'll finish this tonight then. Well, there's 6 chapters plus a very short prologue, and it's going to be a short little epilogue. That's how this game works out. So, yeah, that's going to be a tonight thing. The morning smelled of safety, fur, earth, and the forest. I opened my eyes and saw other people cuddling up to me, their muzzles resting on their paws as they slept. Gentle snoring filled the warm space under the low-hanging branches of an old spruce tree. I'm going to try and go out quietly. Quietly, so as not to wake anyone, I crawled outside. Alone, hiding in the tall grass, I sniffed around. The sky was bright, and the forest around me was dark and full of interesting smells. High in the trees, birds yelled about status, sex, and violence. Memories started to come back. Something opened in my mind, and memories started flooding. The run through the night, the bite, the strange dream about being a werewolf. The creature stirred in bushes nearby, a tall, dark silhouette, a strangely familiar smell. I tensed up. And watched the human as they looked around. Maya, there you are. Suddenly they noticed me. It's time to get out of here. I spasmed. Suddenly, a feeling like cramp or a spasm surged through me. Everything changed. I was Hamid, the human form. My body started resetting itself to the familiar shape, and it hurt. Bones broke and fused again. Muscle and sinew moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed. Then, panting and sweaty, I was Hamid again. I hit the ground with my bare hands. Colors exploded and the morning breeze suddenly became cold, and I shivered. I looked up. Confused, looked at the person approaching me. Oh, it's Cornell. You look cold. Cornell smirked and threw me a bundle of clothes. You better not change for a while. They won't survive it. Not until you learn the right, at least. I took the bundle. I snatched the bundle and started pulling the clothes on. Sneakers, loose-fitting jeans, a hoodie with a unicorn. They fit perfectly. I thought about the previous night. I was raging through the forest about how differently I experienced the world through my wolf senses, about the discomfort and confusion of changing shape. So, I was a werewolf. Goal, master the change. There was no denying it. I was no longer human. Appreciated the help. Cornell is loyal. Hell yeah. Thank you, I said, zipping up the hoodie. I really appreciate the help. And I could really use some advice, I admitted meekly. I have no idea what to do now. We stood there for a moment, comfortable in silence, wondering how one usually learned that they were a werewolf. But how come nobody knew about werewolves? Doesn't make any sense, it suddenly struck me. How come nobody knows werewolves exist? We protect the veil, was the answer. It's easy to convince humans the supernatural doesn't exist. or they want to believe that. And the delirium helps. The veil. Poetic term for the false assumption that the supernatural does not exist, which the delirium reinforces. So the veil, that's the same. Well, technically, the different word for it is the masquerade, which the Vampire the Masquerade. That's one I know, which is basically the vampires have this whole laws regulations in place so that they don't reveal the truth of the darker world to regular humans. The delirium is a new one though. The madness and memory loss suffered by humans who look upon a Garu in Krynos form. Oh, shit. I think Krynos is like the hybrid form. Hamid is human and Lupus is wolf. Delirium. You mean delirium is in the medical condition? I asked, remembering something that I read about acute confusional states. You'll have to ask Pat for that. But the gist of it is that humans are incapable of remembering that they saw Krynos. He laughed. They panic, turn away, and instantly forget. Every time. Krynos. Yeah, it's a hybrid form. Wait. War form of the Garu. Oh shit. Hmm. Good to know, good to know. I want to know Cornell's story. So, I said, how did you become a werewolf? I was born a werewolf, it seems, he answered. That was not what I meant. Oh, I mean, when did you know, change? Oh, that. Oh, I was serving in Afghanistan. There was an ambush. Stuff happened. I can imagine. That must have been hard. I'm sorry, I said. It must have been hard. It was, he sighed. They sent me home with PTSD. And once home, I got found by others. They needed someone who knew how to fight. Why, though? Why? We were the real eco-terrorists back then. My pack and I. But I realized that violence only breeds more violence. And it's not the way I want to follow. I realized something. Something important. The wolves had awoken. At some point, the rest of the party had awoken and joined us. The clearing was full of wolves. Fuck. The wolves were closing in on me. They weren't really wolves, were they? But werewolves, like me. I'm just going to accept it, because this is clearly happening. I can either run from it or accept it. I'm going to accept it. Hiding the body. The headless body was heavy. They said that, as my first kill, it was my burden. It was my duty to take it to the barrows. So I got my shit together. Lifted the corpse and threw it over my shoulder. You have to balance the death you cause with your achievements. Cornell looked me in the eyes. That is the path of the Garu. He accompanied me, carrying the severed head in a bag. The others stayed behind, covering the tracks. I focused on the walk. Are my eyes more yellowish now? Should I have started going like full wolf? That's a weasel. I didn't want to talk, or to think, for that matter. Not about the person I was carrying, or rather trying to carry. Just a thing. I needed to transport it from point A to point B. That's it. It was too heavy. Kept dragging, but the burden was too much to bear. I was tired and hurt. I just couldn't do it anymore. Looked at the body, and I really wanted to say something. I choked on my words. Curled into a ball with my arm around my head. I couldn't. I can't, I said. The only thing I could say, louder and louder until it became a shriek. I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't. Cornell sighed and kneeled beside me. You're a werewolf. Gaia's soldier. There's nothing you can't do. Get up. We have a world to save. You have a legacy to fulfill and a debt to pay. Right? Took a deep breath. He was right. I was here for a reason. I had things to do. I changed? Oh shit. Did not realize I could do this. Okay. So Hamid, Glabro, Krynos, Hispo, Lupus. Looks great on camera. Alright. I'm gonna go into Glabro to, like, beef myself up a bit. Pain was stronger than I ever imagined. I felt my muscles spasm as they rearranged themselves. My jaw cracked and my mouth filled with blood. I clenched my fists and claws drove into my palms. I screamed. When I rose, panting and sweating, I was more than human. I was Glabro. Wolfish. Strong. Scary. And it fucking hurt. The change hurt more than I expected. The world shifted. Not much, but enough. But my teeth get sharper and muscles stronger. I picked up the body. It's a lot lighter. We went on. As we made our way through the forest, I realized we weren't alone. Somehow I knew that I'd see before I even saw it. A white weasel and a dark gray wolf. Ah, my companion smiled. I see you've noticed our patrons. Spirit joined to a pack or tribe and representative of his inner nature. I remember them from my dream. The winter weasel and the morning wolf. Yeah, we know each other, I said, remembering my dream. We sort of met the other night. The two animals stopped in front of me in the middle of the path. We came here to teach the cub, said the wolf. She smelled of ash and tears. Was I hallucinating? I couldn't believe what I saw. It made no sense. I felt as if my brain was short-circuiting trying to interpret signals not meant for human senses. Was it really a weasel? I turned my eye away from the weasel. It flickered. It was just a projection on a broken screen. One moment, an animal. A moment later, just an idea. When it talked, the air smelled of electric discharge. I felt like the words displayed directly in my mind. Wouldn't leave me alone. But hallucinations or not, they just wouldn't leave me alone. The weasel circled me, and before I knew it, I could feel small claws on my leg, and on my back, and then on my arm. It smelled of musk and electricity. Then it bit my ear. I ignored it. Do they always do that? I asked, ignoring the spirit. Speak to me when I'm biting you, the weasel's electronic voice echoed in my head. Enough, the wolf growled. At least that was what my brain decided to hear. Let the weasel draw its breath. In the beginning there was Gaia, Mother Earth, and she gave birth to a mighty breed of warriors, the weasel began. It sounded electronical, like a teenager reading a Wikipedia page over a voice chat. They were called Garu. That's werewolves and werewolfish. And their sole purpose was to protect Gaia. They failed, wailed the wolf. Looked to the weasel for advice. Why did they fail? I looked to the weasel. When time began, Gaia released three primal forces upon the earth. The weaver, the wild, and the worm, the weasel continued. The wild was the untamed force of life and creation. The cold, ruthless weaver gave structure to the world, and the worm destroyed what needed to be destroyed, creating balance. Weaver, some manifestation symbol of order and pattern, manifestation symbol of pure change, the chaos of transmutation of elemental force, manifestation symbol of evil, entropy, and decay in Garu belief. The weaver, the wild, and the worm. Were we creatures of the wild? An untamed life force. They were Gaia's children, the wolf snarled, born to herd and contain humans. So, what went wrong? Well, I can see that something went wrong, I smiled wryly. The weaver grew too ambitious and trapped the worm within its lifeless web, the weasel answered. Confined and denied, the worm went slowly insane. The wolf wailed. Now Gaia is dying. Now Gaia is dying. Choked by the weaver and eaten alive by the worm, wailed the wolf. The wild is not the one you should fight, she snarled. You were born to protect it. Then it turned and led the way. Took us to the barrows. Didn't look much different than other parts of the forest, until you noticed the mounds, that is. Something about the flattened hills that drew my full attention. They must have been bigger in the past. Imagine them vividly when they were built. The tall, proud barrows, the dead decomposing underground, returning to the earth, eating new life. Trees around us were the fingers of the dead protruding from the ground. Then it happened. The feeling anchored in my chest, akin to the taste of ash in my mouth and the smell of smoke. Longing, sadness, resignation. There was more. A sense of sacredness filled me with a calm excitement. When I closed my eyes, I saw a fire burning in the darkness. Cornell kneeled near one of the mounds, put his hand on it, and whispered a few words. I saw the ground open slowly, like a mouth in the earth. I sighed. Let's do this. Buried it. We took the head and the body I'd wrapped up in sheets and put them in the hole. It closed slowly. I could swear I heard the trees nearby sigh in anticipation. The wolf howled, and I could feel the hair on my hands rise. Welcome to your new life. The talking white weasel grinned. We have something else to show you. I ran with them. Ooh, we're on a vision quest. You're a cub, so you have special privileges, said the weasel. Push will grant you a vision. See to understand, said the wolf. Think carefully before you choose what to see. Alright. I'm gonna pull this up, because our main thing is to find out the truth of our family. Your family history, considering the power. Mystery, mission, identity. So if our goal is still to figure out our family, I'm gonna go to the barrows. Rest among the tombs of the ancestors and see what they say. Tangled paths. It was hard to find the barrows, although I knew where they were. Looked behind me, the path had disappeared. I felt the Pusha playing with me, twisting paths, blocking my way with bushes and dead trees, and suddenly opening a new path that was straight and full of sunshine. I pushed on. Determined, I pushed on. Since the change, I had become acutely aware of how my body worked. I remembered that humans were good at running. Stubborn, relentless, long-distance running. Not as fast as a deer, not as nimble as a wolf, steady and without rest. So I ran. Then I was there. The barrows climbed the nearest hill. When I was at the top, I stumbled on something. A shape in the grass. A skull watching me from its bleached eye sockets. I touched it. The buried past. There's a swirl. It starts deep within me. Then it expands. Everything is in motion. There's no center anymore. I see a forest. I run among the trees, and suddenly I see a hamlet where a clearing once was. My howl is like a keen. The houses are mere huts. There's almost nothing that protects the people from the forest. Their clothes are rags, their feet are bare, their hair and long beards are unkempt. There are wolf cubs. There's blood. And the howling begins. The mournful, blood-curdling keen of a mother who has lost her children. Watch, whispers the voice in my head. Watch and remember. I want to act. I cannot just stand by and watch. I want to act. I draw glyphs with the wolf cub's blood, and I pray for retribution. The horse listens to me. It wakes, erupting with rage, and powerful furred bodies surge through the trees towards the village. The humans try to escape. They scream and beg for mercy. They try to protect themselves with fire. I take it from their hands. The Garu rise up, talons red with blood, eyes glaze with fury. The fire is yanked from the hands of the villagers. Burn their houses. Oh, this is going to be our story of our grandfather. Because they mentioned, like, a burning. And make the wolf mother happy. The keening turns into a howl of joy. I am there from the very beginning. The family burned villages for the Pushya for ages. The Garu have my eye, my face. They are my family. I am the blood of their blood. I am part of the story from the very beginning. I do it again. I do it again. Can't stop me. It happens again. The humans return. They rebuild the village, this time stronger and better protected. The keening begins once more. And we, the Garu, come down on them like wolves on the fold. Again. New villages, new fires, more blood. Again. Again and again. Seasons change, centuries pass. The keening continues. Villages in the forest burn. Till one day there's only one Garu left in the family. He slays his own kindred in the fit of his first rage. He never forgave himself. He escapes across the ocean. He serves in an army. He burns villages in Vietnam and Afghanistan. It just feels different. Never forgives himself. Wants to go back. Tells his granddaughter stories about the forests, but he never goes back. I stay there and I watch, but I can't move. My throat burns. My stomach is in knots. I want to scream, but I have no mouth. I feel the fire. I smell the blood. I smell ash and tears. I see the large ash-gray wolf looking straight at me. Her eyes are golden. She weeps. It is in your blood, she says to me. It's your duty. It is you. Come with me, child. Be my fangs and claws. There is no one else to be my cub. Come to me, child. I will nurse you and I will lick your wounds. We will kill together. We will feast. We will be merry. The forest will grow. I looked at her. And perhaps for the first time, I thought who she was. Her pelt was marred with fire. Her eyes were smoking embers. Ash was falling from her heaving flanks. She looked old, ancient, seething with anger. She was mourning incarnated. She was the very idea of mourning made flesh, driven by a feeling of loss so profound that it burned everything in its wake. She was more than that. She was the darkness. Lost in her grief, swallowed by mourning so intense that it warped everything it touched. Whoever she'd been before was gone, and the need for revenge remained. At least, that was what I thought when I looked at her. The wolf mother looked back at me, and something in her eyes made me realize she was helping my family for generations. My family used to serve her. Join me, she pleaded. Only you can understand me. Only you. See, part of me wants to go to the wolf. I don't want to play High Rage. I'm going to run. I took a step back, then another, and another. I turned and I ran. The forest watched me, silent and indifferent. Darkness. A lone howl pierced the silence like a single ray of moonlight in the darkness. There was another one, and another, Then another. Choir of voices triumphant and joyful. With my eyes. With my eyes, I was in a clearing. Around me there were wolves. Huge, monstrous wolves howling at the wolves. At the moon. And the peaceful. The pain was overwhelming. My spine cracked and twisted. My knees and ankles broke and I fell on the ground. My jaw shattered and rearranged itself. My whole skin was on fire, rippling and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When I rose, panting and spitting blood, I was Hispo. With strong paws, mighty jaws, and a mane of fur. More than a wolf. Scary and monstrous. Instinctively, I changed and joined the choir. My voice was unsteady at first, but soon I found my own note, a unique addition to the chorus. Well, hello there, Cornell smiled at me, and welcome to the Sept. I just listened, trying to let my rage peter out a bit. I realized my survival depended on learning very quickly, so I just nodded and listened. What a werewolf. A pack is family, Cornell explained. An alliance of packs united in a common goal is a sept. So there were 2 packs there. There must be at least 2 packs there. That Cornell. The great gray-eyed wolf changed into Cornell, and soon Pat and Kim joined him. We are the Winter Weasel pack, said Kim. A white shadow settled on Pat's shoulder. I smelled musk and electricity. I looked at Lisa. A huge white Siberian wolf stood up. He was Lisa, human-looking again, her clothes rumpled. Olga and Daniel joined her. Seconds later. We are the pack of the Morning Wolf Mother, said Olga. They smelled of ash and tears. For a moment I saw the wolf spirit among them. We are all Gaia's soldiers, said Cornell, and that we have no choice. Choose we fight alongside. Why the animal spirits? Does every pack have an animal spirit? I asked. How does that work? Such spirits are called patrons, and not all are animals, Lisa explained. And our pacts with them give us additional abilities with which to fight the sickness and corruption of the worm. The last word reeked of decay and burning oil. Do I have to join a pack? Just to make sure. No Garu can survive on their own, Cornell said with sympathy. Your old human life is over. We will never abandon you. I have so many fucking questions, man. I shook my head. What about the moon? Why did I hear the moon whispering to me? Yes. Luna gave us rage. That is why she's important, Olga said. And that is why you'll never be able to touch silver again. Is every sept that diverse? You're from all over Europe, I noticed. Is this like a standard for a sept? I looked at Cornell. I didn't even know if it was a stupid question or a smart one. I looked at Cornell. It is far from standard, but desperate times make strange bedfellows. He smiled sadly. Normally a sept is dominated by one tribe, maybe 2. There are at least a dozen tribes, Daniel interrupted. And I hope, Maya, that you will choose yours wisely. How do the spirits work? How does that work? What about the spirits? The world casts a shadow, and we call it the Umbra, said Lisa. And in the shadow, every living creature, every emotion and idea, every important object exists as a spirit. And that's all you need to know at the moment. I summed it up. So I've got all this all right. I've been conscripted into an ancient war against the worm. I said slowly, trying to put it all together. And the moon gave me rage as a weapon, but I must avoid silver. I took a breath. And there's a whole secret world of spirits, I continued, and I have to join a pack and choose a tribe. Exactly, Lisa nodded. As for the tribe, there are 2 people who could mentor you now. Olga is from the Black Furies, an ancient tribe of women warriors, and Cornell is from the Children of Gaia, and he's more a peace and harmony guy. What about my family's tribe? Oh, shit. What about my family's tribe? I asked. Lisa winced. Daniel sighed. Olga shook her head. What's the matter? asked again. Your ancestors were the Get of Fenris. No one here wants to have anything to do with that tribe, Cornell answered. They stand against everything we believe in. I'm from a tainted bloodline? Does that mean my blood is tainted? Tribe is not always a birthright. Sometimes it's a choice, Cornell said. So choose wisely. Get of Fenris are the most radical Garu supremacists ever marred the face of Earth. Oh. Get of Fenris are the most radical Garu supremacists ever marred the face of Earth, Kim scoffed. Like, legit fascist werewolves. Some of them literally worked for Hitler. What are we asking? Only question. I like I wanted to join the cursed tribe. For a moment we all were silent. Know more about the tribes. I wanted to learn more about the tribes and find an option that would really resonate with me who I was. Talk with Kim. I like Kim. Kim told me a lot about bone gnars, urban werewolves fighting for the disadvantaged and the marginalized, children of the rat. Do they have a rat as a patron? Sure we do, Kim answered. He's a very good patron. Resilient. You want to be like a rat. Always managing, always afloat. They kept talking. That's why the bone gnars protect every single guy's children, no matter how small. Because we are all valid. They sighed heavily. Now tell it to the other Garu, and they look down at you, because you're a bone gnar. Think they are superior. Prejudice, prejudice everywhere. Talk with Pat. Pat was a glasswalker, and her tribe was finding its niche in cutting-edge technological cityscapes, among the strands of the weaver's net. And intriguing. Talked for a while. Didn't look like... what was she doing in the forest? So you're basically a city dweller, I observed. All grasswalkers are. It's our natural habitat. I feel quite out of place in the forests. Bush is our home. Oh, Pat is now neutral. Why? Maybe you're home, she said. And suddenly I realized that we had less in common than I thought. I'm more of a city girl, she added. We use the weaver to fight the worm, and the forest is not the weaver's domain. It can be quite fond of humanity. They have great potential. I'm gonna not talk anymore with Pat, because I feel like I'm going to fuck it up. I'm gonna say I had to think it over. I think I like stepped on something there. I'm gonna talk with Lisa. Asked Lisa about her tribe, but she inherited her Sibirak legacy from her Buryat grandfather. They didn't know the proper legends, customs, and culture to join. Sibirak. Hate, sorrow, and rage are deeper than any other tribe, because their icy Siberian homeland is melting and decaying. Now they are despised by other tribes as half-breed loners who care only for themselves. How did she come? Wait, I think she told us how she came to Poland. Sibirak, a Russian word. So, I asked, not sure how to approach the topic. The Sibirak, I mean, you're from Siberia. I hesitated and Lisa smirked. But the tribe name reminds you of something. Yes, Sibirak. She pronounced it differently, so it sounded like a Polish word. Must have heard it before. In a different context. In Russian it means someone from Siberia, but in Polish it has its own very specific meaning, Lisa explained. Word for political prisoners exiled to Siberia. There were tens of thousands of them. Which meaning do you prefer? My tribe name describes both of my legacies. My granny was a political exile and my grandpa was a Siberian indigenous. It's because it speaks the truth. How do you become a werewolf? My grandpa saw that I had a soul of a wolf and started teaching me about the spirit world. She looked at me with her violet eyes. When the time was right, he guided me through the change. My grandpa also helped me. I realized I had more in common with Lisa than I previously thought. My grandpa was telling me stories about the Puisha, I said. I think that made me who I am now. Well, he did more then. He must have told you about the Garu, Lisa said. Else do you know the high tongue? The language of the Guardian is as much on body language and tone as on actual words. Much of it is instinctive, accented by pheromones, growls, and whines. How did you come to Poland? Well, my grandfather was from the old tribe, from up north. Proper north, Siberian. Her voice was trembling. But we are spread around the world now, because the old Siberia is gone. Melted. Rotting. Well, I came here in search of a better life. To the forest. Illegal. I still wait for my papers to be sorted. She wasn't exactly hiding. You're afraid they'll catch you? You're not... I searched for words. You're not exactly hiding, I said finally. Nah, Lisa shrugged. You know, I do things here and there, help with the tourists, help with the forests, and my moonshine is best in this province. Besides, I made a pact with spirits. They watch over me, distract people when they get too nosy. That's all I wanted from her. I want to join Lisa's group, because Lisa's group seems cool. I don't want to talk anymore. Too exhausted to bug them with personal questions. There are a lot of werewolves there. One thing is bugging me, I said. Why are so many of you here? Suddenly everyone in Yazwaya is a werewolf for what? You know nothing, cub, Olga laughed bitterly. A mere century ago there were dozens of packs in these forests. But none of the old gods survived the 90s. Lisa shook her head. We had to start from scratch. Until you showed up, there were only 6 of us. The 3 of us not even local, Cornell pointed out. 2 packs, too small for their own good. Anyway, before you're admitted to a tribe, you need to prove yourself. What now? Prove myself? I didn't prove myself enough already? Rite of passage. You went through your first change, Pat said. She was leaning on a tree nearby. And you know everything you need to know at the moment. But you have to go through the rite of passage. Daniel rubbed against my flank, excited. A vision quest, Kim winked at me. We don't have time for tests, we need to solve a real problem, Olga stepped in. Namely, we want to find a way of ending this logging problem, Cornell said gently. So, how would you like to do it? They all looked at me in anticipation. I took my time. Overwhelmed by everything that happened. My old self was gone, replaced by a shape-shifting eco-warrior. But deep down, I was still the same person, with the same ideas and ideals. I knew what to do. Knew exactly what I wanted to do. We're very spiritual, so I'm saying to talk to the spirits. We need to work with the spirits to succeed, I decided. Make the force itself turn against the loggers. Cornell had another idea. Something is rotted in Białowieża, Cornell commented. I think that we should find and neutralize local forces that support the logging. Pat just laughed. She created a diversion. Too little of us for a direct confrontation with the loggers. Continue with the plan. We'll talk to the spirits and see what they can do to help us, I continued. Nature itself destroys the loggers' equipment. There's no one to blame. Lisa looked thoughtful. I'll introduce you to the spirits you need to talk to. Daniel beamed. Spoken like a true Therage. You were born under a crescent moon, weren't you, Maya? How did you know that? Why do you know that? How did you know? How do you know? Mom always told me when she gave birth to me she saw the crescent moon through the window, sharper and brighter than ever before. Oh shit, what? All my stuff is gone. Oh, how? Why? Why did this all change? So I've lost my attributes, and I now have renown. I have really high wisdom. Auspice. Those born under the crescent moon are mystics and seers dealing with spirits, interpreting visions and omens. We have become shaman. Hell yes. Anything else that got added here? Tech dead. Cornell, Lisa. So people loyal, we have Anya, who might not be loyal when she finds out Bartek is dead. Cornell and Lisa. Okay. So we have like 3 loyal friends at the moment. Ngaru born under the crescent moon are shamans and healers, said Lisa. Just like you and me. A worthy Feruj always acts with wisdom, added Olga. Your place in Werewolf Society will be determined by your renown. You earn glory through defeating mighty enemies and succeeding at dangerous quests, honor by following your moral imperative and holding the laws of the Garu. You can earn wisdom by acting efficiently and thinking well before you act. Your renown will change as you play, becoming demise legend among the Garu. No pressure at all. I'm overwhelmed here, man. Olga must have sensed my confusion. Come on, we have a lot to discuss. She patted my shoulder. You have to find your phone and wallet. So I followed her. I nodded. I had to tie up loose ends in my old life. Back to the beginning. Sitting on a bus, the sun streaming through the windows is making it hard to see. A narrow road cuts through a dense old forest. My mind wanders. I'm doing something important. Walking among the trees, looking for something, losing something I loved. Gaining something unwanted. Then I'm fully awake, memories scatter away. Almost there, said Anya. I did some searching. She looked at me from over her phone. And this place is amazing. Last formidable force in Europe. Excited to be here. I know, right? I smile. I'm not able to finish. I start to cough. I try to stop. My throat is sore. My lungs hurt. Yeah, I need help. Anya, I turn to her. Should we help her? She asks, looking at something she is clutching to her chest. Bartek's severed head. Let her die, it answers in a raspy voice. She had it coming. I feel something ashen and dry in my mouth, and it starts to move. I spit it out and see thousands of small spiders leaving my mouth. Threads of silk cover me, the seat and everything around us. I try to get out. I thrash through the window, but a few seconds later I'm bound in a cobweb cocoon. There's a hiss. Then slowly a long, dark, thin shape comes out of Bartek's mouth. A black snake that reeks of rotten meat, acid, and oil. Don't fight, Maya. You're already mine, it says. Just like your grandpa. And then it kisses me. It's gonna be like the Get a Fenris thing.